welcome you to Saigon!
Yeah! I'm in Ho Chi Minh City in southern Vietnam. I only have a few days here with no idea what I'm going to find. Why don't you join me? So first I want to show you where I'm staying while I'm here. It's a hostel, but it's pretty much like a capsule hotel. Like, check this out. You've got like a desk, you've got lights and power. It's a pretty comfy bed actually, and there's a curtain to sort of separate the whole thing. There's 6 beds in this room, and as far as hostels go, it's pretty damn comfortable. The only plan I have so far is tonight I have a tour booked to go check out some street food. Gonna be on the back of a motorcycle. And no, I have never ridden a motorcycle. And then tomorrow there's another tour I've got booked to the Mekong River, which looks really interesting. So the street food tour tonight meets about 5 o'clock at the front of the hostel, which means I got most of the day to kill. So let's go check out what Ho Chi Minh City is actually like. Come on then. The first thing you need to learn when coming to Ho Chi Minh City, or indeed many Southeast Asian cities, is how to cross the street without dying. There are many ways to do this, but the version I figured out is to stick to the crosswalks. Not because they mean anything though, because they absolutely don't. No, all the crosswalks really give you is a bit of false confidence in your street crossing abilities. But as an idiot tourist like myself, you do need all of that you can get. So the trick is, stand at the crossing, all prepped with ill-gotten confidence. Wait for a gap in the traffic, because the traffic will not stop for you. Then hold a hand out in a brave, I'm here kind of manner, and walk through the current, all while death-staring oncoming traffic until it flows seamlessly around you. Unless, that is, said oncoming traffic holds their own hand up, or doesn't change course, in which case you run back to safety as fast as you possibly can. And then, once you're ready, try it all again, until eventually you, like the comical chicken, can finally cross the road. I'll be on the back of one of them tonight. No, I'm not scared. Why would I be scared? You're scared. The Google Maps says there's a market that should be a few blocks that way, so let's go have a look. The markets had clothes and meat and fish and vegetables and souvenirs and, well, just about everything you could want from a market. Except there was one small issue that may have led me to be leaving there much faster than I intended. That was really interesting. They had some really cool stuff in that market, but you couldn't stand still without 3 people all trying to pull you into their shops. It kind of just became a matter of don't stop walking, just like leaving as quickly as I could to escape all the vendors hounding me. That was a bit much. So there's something called the War Remnants Museum that I've heard some other travelers talking about. It's apparently about 10 to 15 minutes walk away, so let's go have a look at that. Come on. Now some quick history about this place, because it's kind of important. Ho Chi Minh City used to be called Saigon. You've probably heard about Saigon as it served as the headquarters of the American military and their allies during the Vietnam War, and thus also features in every Vietnam War film we'll ever see. Except of course here, it's often not called the Vietnam War, because why would it be? For the same reasons that in Vietnam, Vietnamese food is just food. So instead, the war is known as the American War, which might give some hint as to how that history here is seen. The War Remnants Museum helps to remember that conflict, including the weapons, the atrocities, the effect of Agent Orange on people and their descendants, the mines that are still being cleared from the farmland by aid organizations, and even the global protests against the war. And in 1975, following the fall of Saigon, the city was renamed for this guy, Ho Chi Minh, the leader of North Vietnam at the time. Though many people, both here and abroad, do still call it Saigon. So that was really interesting, and a bit depressing for obvious reasons, but it's important that museums like that exist so you can actually remember the stories of what went down. Now we've got a little bit of time before the tour starts, so I'm going to head back to the hostel and prep myself for being on a motorbike and getting some street food. Let's go. So I may have just got sort of minorly scammed into buying a coconut. It's a fresh coconut that they cut open and put a straw in. The guy was basically walking past me, started chatting. He said, yeah, I'll give you one. And he sort of just started opening it without me saying anything, and I couldn't stop him. So, yeah. The coconut was nice, but I wanted something a bit more. Bubble tea. No, I am not addicted to bubble tea. I can stop anytime I like. Seriously, anytime. Well, not now, obviously. I have it now. And now, onto the important bit. This is Karshan, my awesome guide for the street food tour, and the lucky guy who would be driving the bike with me on the back. As I said, I've never ridden a motorbike, scooter, or anything like it before. I can ride a push bike, but I'd be stretching to say I was any good at it. And so this experience taught me two very important things about myself. First, I think I'd really want to get a bike license, or something similar. This was so much fun and so easy, I absolutely loved it. And the second thing, if I were to get something like a bike of my own, I will never ride it in Vietnam. I have no idea what the traffic rules are here. As far as I can tell, if there are rules, they range somewhere between guidelines and vague suggestions, while still magically getting people around more or less in one piece, which in itself is quite amazing. So all I could do was hold on, leave the driving to far better hands than mine, and look forward to the food. And food there was. First up, char-grilled bananas and custard, and then a short trip to a very interesting little cafe.
Yes.
Oh wow. That's cool.
It's very cool, right?
Yeah.
But you want to go down there?
Sure! Climb into a tiny hole. Why not? Oh wow, this is kind of amazing out down here.
Yeah. This place where the Chiang Mai is operate, cover, capture the weapon from the U.S. Army. Yes. And here is another number. Okay.
Yeah, so how far does it go?
So maybe like 200 meters. Mind your hands because it must be very dangerous and then get out. And it's your turn.
Okay. After that little adventure, the food part of the tour really began. This was one of my favorites. Yes, I may have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Welcome you to Saigon.
Yeah! This tour became a highlight of my time in Vietnam, and after so much food, I was stuffed. But the fun couldn't last forever, and soon I returned to the hostel, ready and energetic, really, to get up early the next morning for the bus.
It is almost 6:30 a.m. and this morning we're going to go to the Delta. But first I have to get up, which I really don't want to do.
First, a stop for refreshments at some kind of truck stop / river garden place. Really nice little rainforest ghetto they've got here. See, they sell raincoats because it's going to be raining a bit today. They did not. This becomes important later. Our next stop was a boat ride to the Delta's islands, which was admittedly far slower and more relaxing than a high-speed shot implies. There we were introduced to the honey production they do on the island, along with a drink that tasted very much like a hot toddy, or hot whiskey depending on where you're from, but without the whiskey bit. Then we made friends. And on to a much slower paced transport, and a hat that, by law, every tourist must wear. I don't make the rules. Another boat ride later to the next island, and a market with some very interesting looking alcohol. And lunch, which was so amazing it rivaled the previous night's adventures. After the boat rides, we returned to the bus and eventually found ourselves at this incredible Buddhist temple. They have some pretty big Buddhas here. He's big. He's very big. How did they make that though? There's two others as well. Check this out. We can't get across the road unfortunately, but this one must be just as tall. Check out this architecture. These pillars are amazing. This is definitely one of the most recent temples that I've been to. Most temples you find are usually built a few hundred years back. This is only 150 odd years old. And you can feel it. It's incredibly well made. Everything's also just very clean. It is quite amazing to see a temple like this built so recently. It's back to the bus. And that's when the rain started. But as we returned, the rain let up. So I thought, hey, I need some dinner. Let's go for a walk. I won't get wet, right? The hostel reception pointed me to some street food just the other side of the river. So off I went, over the bridge, bravely crossing the streets, until I made it. Then I got this, the banh mi that's filled with, I think, intestines? I chose the meat, I wasn't sure what I was choosing, but it's amazing for 30,000 dong. This is great, I need more of this. I have no idea what these things are either, but there were 20,000 and they're amazing. And it was great, and amazing, and then... Remember how I couldn't find that raincoat? Getting wet.